Welcome to It's Not That Serious podcast.
I'm Elodie.
And I'm Malia. And this is Pa.
Big Pa.
Big Pa. Today is episode 16, and we have a very special guest, my father. Pa, you ready? You nervous?
No.
Okay, so I hold my dad very special to me. So this one is going to be a little hard. I hope I don't cry, because I'm a crybaby. So we just have a lot of questions. I'm a little nervous.
No need.
But I got my dad here, so let's go. Okay, do you have anything to say, Elodie?
I'm excited. I just hear Malia talking about Pa all the time, and I feel like, you know, this is a homage to who you are and the way she sees you, and I'm excited for you to get into, like, your life.
Yeah, we want to know, Pa. I mean, you've always kept it real and raw with us, you know? You always kept it, like, straightforward, and I feel like your life experiences helped me growing up. Like, I've watched you just always be, like, such a stand-up guy. And, like, I feel like nowadays, men aren't like you, you know? So we're like, who better than Pa to come on here and, you know, just speak your experiences?
Speak your truth.
So tell us about your childhood, Pa. How did you grow up? You had a lot of siblings, a lot of responsibilities in life. You had 4 girls. 5. No, 4.
4 girls, 1 boy.
Yep. So you had a lot. You did a lot. You accomplished a lot. Growing up.
I had many things, and I came from, my childhood was rough. We lived next door to my grandma, and basically...
The one in Texas, right?
Yeah, but we lived in Waukegan. We grew up in Waukegan.
Yeah, but you're talking to Mike.
Basically a shack. I mean, it was next door. It was between my Aunt Mary, my grandma, and then we were in the middle.
Yeah.
And, things were tough. We had no electricity. We had no gas. We didn't have a lot of things growing up in Waukegan. But... we made the best of it. We grew up on plantation cookies and brownies.
Wow.
We used to run an extension cord next door to my grandma's house for heat. But we got past that. We grew up, and, you know, as I was growing up, I told myself that, you know, I wouldn't allow my kids to do that.
Yeah.
Or go through that, I should say.
What age did you think by, like, once you knew, like, what age did you think, like, oh, this is going to be a hard life, so I have to make it for myself? Because I know back then you guys had to go through foster care.
Well, honestly, at a very early age, I won't sugarcoat anything.
Yeah, we want to keep it real and raw.
We were taken away from my mother at a very early age. My sisters went to Lake Bluff. My brothers went to Zion. I ran, and then I ended up being with my Aunt Mary. My Aunt Mary took me in.
At what age?
I want to say it was 10 or 12 years old. It was between 10 and 12.
Mm-hmm.
Because right after that, I got myself in a lot of trouble, and I ended up getting sent to a reform school in Pennsylvania.
At 10 and 12?
Oh, wow.
No, I think I was 12 years old when I shot somebody. And I think I was 13 years old, and I went to reform school. They sent me from Halls Detention Center in Waukegan to Pennsylvania to a thing called Glen Mills Schools.
Oh, wow.
And that's basically where I learned everything. I learned how to read, write, socialize. I was a bull. I played lacrosse.
Wow.
I was the president of my unit. I mean, the list goes on.
Yeah.
Basically, what made me learn and do different things was the reform school.
Yeah. And did you say how many siblings you had?
Sophia and Vanessa. Vanessa's passed. She died giving birth to her baby Ralphie. And then Nando, Isaac, and Easy.
Yeah.
Easy is fully mentally handicapped. He can't fend for himself at all whatsoever.
And you're the oldest. Did you feel like being the oldest, you had like that responsibility where you had to come back after your reform school?
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm the oldest.
Wow.
I'm the oldest grandchild and the oldest son in the family. It's crazy. My mom and my grandma were pregnant at the same time. My uncle's the same age as me. We're both 51.
Wow.
Wait,
I know, ladies, I don't look 51.
but how old was your mom when she had you?
15. She
Yeah,
got
okay, so
pregnant
15.
at 15. She had 14. She had me when she was 15.
That is crazy.
Yeah, and as far as responsibilities, I had them because, you know, there was really no male figure in our life. I mean, my stepdad Junior was on and off,
Yeah.
and my mom had to work for fucking $4 an hour.
Wow.
And she did her best. I won't sit here and stunt with you. And she was never home, so I had to feed, watch Easy, change his diapers. My brothers and sisters, we used to eat tortillas with fucking butter,
Yeah.
peanut butter. But having that many kids at that age, as far as my mother, she did as best as she could, in my opinion.
Okay, so question. So when you went to school, because like you said, when you shot somebody at an early age, do you feel like you did that because how you were like brought up?
There was really no rules for me. Zero rules. I used to stay in the neighborhood. I would say the hood, South Park, and I would be there sometimes a week, 2 weeks, and no one would come look for me. So I went home when I wanted to go.
Yeah.
And most of my friends that I grew up with, or brothers, whatever you wanted to call them back in the day, their parents came to look for them and took them home. So once I realized that I didn't have no rules, I mean, once I got a way to get home, I would always steal a bike and go back to the hood.
Bike is crazy.
Yeah. If your garage door was open, I jumped on that thing and I went straight down Washington to South Park.
What? That's crazy.
And we lived on the, what is that considered? I would say the west side of Waukegan. And all of us were, all where we used to hang out was the east side.
Yeah. I mean, so when you did all that, how was school? Did you went to school or did you skip school a lot? Or how was that
I
experience?
didn't have to go to school.
Damn.
I barely went to school. And when I did go, I would miss at least 2-3 days a week. I didn't go to school hardly at all.
You only went to school to go see mom?
Wait, what?
Well,
Is that how you met?
We
Bertha?
met. Well, I met Bertha at the Puerto Rican Society. To be truthful,
At what age?
I met Bertha at school, but I didn't meet Bertha at school because I was part of the bad crowd, and Bertha was part of the Latin crowd, Mexican crowd. Most of the back then, most of the Mexicans stuck together.
Yeah.
The brothers, the blacks stuck together.
Yeah, it was very
and
segregated.
the gangbanger and wannabes and all that stuck together. So
How old were you when you met her for the first time?
15,
Wow.
Yeah.
15. How old are you now? 51?
51.
Wow.
Crazy.
That's a love story.
It really is.
She didn't want nothing to do with me, to be perfectly honest with you. And I mean, who wants to be with a drug user, a fucking gangbanger, a dropout from school? Nobody did.
How did you conquer her?
I just wouldn't leave her alone.
Stay
like
consistent,
that.
fellas. Stay consistent.
That and freestyle music.
Oh.
I was one of the few that used to ride around in my Nissan with freestyle music, this wannabe hardcore gangbanger, listening to freestyle music. And then I used to go down Buttrick, park my little car, jump out, talk to her. She used to shoo me away.
Wow. Mom was hard to get. Okay.
Very.
No, that's right, Ma.
Patty Trevino is actually used to get in good words from me, her next door neighbor.
Oh, really?
I used to call her, basically begging her for her to give me a chance. And the one time that she kissed me is over with. She knew right then and there. That was it.
Bye. You are crazy. Wait, did any of her 8 sisters like you while you were seeing mom?
No.
Even though, because they knew your background, you,
No.
like you said, were a gangbanger?
The mom respected me, and she treated me well. God rest her soul.
Bottom mic.
God rest her soul. She treated me well, but you're my daughter's friend, right? I consider you a daughter. She's my daughter. Nobody wants their daughter with a guy like me back then. And I couldn't blame them.
You say a guy like you. What kind of guy were you?
Truthfully, controlling. I was in and out of jail at an early age at 15 years old. I did drugs. I was 15 years old. I snorted cocaine. I smoked happy sticks. I drank. I smoked cigarettes. I was very controlling. I was abusive. I mean, physically, mentally. And their parents knew it. And they knew it. They recognized. And Bertha used to make excuses for me. And God, I don't know why she did, but I'm glad she did because, I'm not that type of person anymore. But to answer Malia's question, no, they didn't want nothing to do with me. And I don't, to this day, I don't blame them.
Yeah.
I don't want you with that. I don't want you with that. I don't want my other daughters with that. You know what
But I mean, I always say, and I always tell Elodie, you're like the real definition of men do change though, because you changed tremendously. Like now you are not even that person. So it's crazy when you even say that because now you're a great dad, a great husband, and overall just such a stand-up guy. So it's crazy to think that you went from that lifestyle to this lifestyle and you cut a lot of that. A lot of people can't cut a lot of the toxic traits that they have or habits or even the drug use that they did.
One day I just woke up and I said I quit
Yeah.
everything. And most of my friends that I was doing drugs with, you know, sadly, a lot of them still do drugs to this day, and we're all in our 50s.
Yeah.
And when I said it, no one believed me.
Yeah.
I quit everything stole cold turkey right there.
Which is not easy.
Right.
At all.
And I started snorting cocaine at I think I was 14 years old when I had my first taste. And I did it all the way up to I think I was 22, 23 years old. And I was always broke. I'm like, man, this just ain't right, you know? So I just woke up and said I quit. And I did. And I haven't touched it since. I haven't did it in 24 plus years.
And that was like a big transition from
For sure.
becoming a drug use to like where you are now. That's crazy. That's
Yeah,
insane.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm a true believer in if you want to do it, you can do it.
Yeah.
I don't sugarcoat anything. The people who say it's hard, this and that, I don't believe it, but a lot of people do.
Yeah.
If you really want to quit something, you can.
Yeah.
If you want to change, you will change.
Yeah. Do you want to answer? I have a question.
Go ahead.
Okay. One of my questions is how was it raising 4 women plus, you know, leading mom and raising a son? 4 daughters is a lot.
That's a lot. You became a girl dad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definition of a girl dad.
it wasn't as hard as everybody thinks. It was pretty easy because all of you guys have different attitudes, different charisma about you. You guys are so different in so many ways.
Very.
But you're actually alike in a lot of ways too.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And you guys made it easy for me because I was a huge sportsman, and I wish the only one regret I got is not pushing education more to you guys. I always push sports, and all of you guys were great in sports.
Yeah.
But it wasn't that you guys were spoiled as hell because I had a lot of money back then. Now, if the roles were reversed, you guys wouldn't be as spoiled because I'm broke.
No, you're not broke. You're rich, actually.
Rich in health.
Rich at life.
Rich. Yeah.
But the girl part, honestly, it was not as hard. The problem was I think it was you or Alexis.
Yeah.
I can't remember which one of you guys
At
it
different
was.
stages, though, because Alexis was worse, and now
No,
I became worse.
When I realized that I had daughters turning into women is when I took your guys' clothes and put them in the dryer.
Oh, yeah.
And I see some shit. I was like,
Alexis, when she first wore a thong.
it was you or Alexis. And I ran upstairs and I told Bertha, who the fuck bought these pants for my fucking daughters? They can't wear this shit. Target and Walmart only. It was funny. We got in a big fight about it. It was funny as fuck. And then I looked. And that's why one time I think I made a post like, gentlemen, if you have younger daughters, don't throw their clothes in the dryer and don't take them out the dryer. Let their mothers take them out. Because
That
I was
is
like,
hilarious.
I have women. you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I would say one thing that I learned about Chupa, and I always feel like I still keep this in my everyday life with life experiences, you always kept going even when times got hard. Like even when, you know, when I would do volleyball or do sports and I doubted myself and you were always one to like I could go to and still be so confident, you always made sure to like whatever you go through in life, you got to keep going because life just doesn't stop. So how did you feel like, you know, now with our life experience of you going to prison, almost what, you've been home for about 2-3 years?
2 years now.
Yeah. How was that experience of like, what did I say in here? What helped you keep going? Because you never gave up, even at the age of 50, of going to prison.
I've been a reform school. I've been to state prison twice and then federal prison once. And the one that hurt the most was this one, the last one, because it affected me more because we had a bond.
Yeah.
And it was unbreakable, and we were real close.
Yeah.
And we grew and I was at every volleyball game, every baseball game, every soccer game, every softball game with Alexis. And then my grandkids were playing.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be part of that. And I couldn't once I finally got caught selling drugs. And I mean, I got
Life
caught
changed.
at 46 years old.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to go back to prison at 46 years old. That one hit me the hardest.
Yeah.
Especially at that age. Now, I won't sit here and once I got there, I adapted and I did what I had to do to get out and come home early.
Yeah.
I got 2 years and damn near 6 months knocked off my sentence for taking a drug class. And, you know, I called you guys and told you I wanted to quit.
Yeah.
Because they were riding the shit out of me. But I didn't quit because I knew I had to get back home.
Your goal, yeah.
I got to come home and see my son play the last 2 years in high school.
You got to take a lot of classes in there, too.
Oh, I took anger management, criminal behaviors, so many. I have a list somewhere in here in the house, but I found it the other day and I wanted to show some people. I was going to screenshot it and put it
Oh,
on
we have
Facebook.
to find that then.
Did you feel like because you taking all those classes, I never heard of you being an angry person. Do you feel like they kind of set you up for failure to take all those damn classes?
You don't. I'm a very angry person and very bitter person, and I hold a lot of resentment.
Okay.
I still hold it to this day, and I won't never change that. But I won't lie to you. I took those classes before. They never, you had to put on a front so you can come home.
Right.
So you had to participate in a group and you had to talk and you had to do everything you had to do just so you can get out. You could get them extra 30 days, them extra 60 days. Whatever I had to do to take in whatever class I had to take to get home, I did it.
Yeah.
The 9 months RDAP, that was brutal, especially for me.
Yeah.
Because they picked on me a lot.
In prison?
The staff, Mr. Perez, come to the podium. Mr. Perez, I had 13 podium exercises. The whole class of mine, the most podium exercise they had, I think it was 6.
Yeah.
So I had 7 more than everybody. And the 10 biggest ways that I lied to get ahead in life, the lies I told my wife, I mean, they made me rewrite.
Very vulnerable.
Yeah, they wrote.
Well,
They made me write it almost 20 times. Changed it.
Wow.
Nope, not good enough. Nope, not good enough. And that's when I wanted to give up. But that's what led me to want to get home.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, my kids were grown.
Yeah.
Carlo, Gianni, and Armani.
Yeah.
I needed to get home and watch them play sports.
Yeah.
I had to. And it was the best thing ever.
Yeah.
Just like when I watched you play.
Yeah.
Alexis play, Esau play.
Yeah.
And everybody knows that I wasn't that guy who had a BMW, an Infinity. I had my house and my kids' sports.
Yeah.
I used all my money for them to get one-on-one training and be the best at what they were doing.
Yeah.
I paid top dollar to get them to be where they were at. And I didn't care. And I wore the same shit, damn near how I'm dressed right now is how I dressed back then.
Yeah. And you still had so much money, which is crazy. My dad used to drive a minivan. And before we used to hate on it, like, "Wow, why are you, get a different car, bro." But he always used to drive this blue minivan and still had so much money in his pockets, but always was so low key. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And I spent the money on my children.
Yeah.
Carlo got one-on-one training. Alexis got one-on-one training. Issa got one-on-one. Malia got one-on-one. Gianni, Armani, they all got one-on-one training.
Yeah.
I mean, their parents pay for it, but Alexis inherited that. From
Right.
me.
You
know what I
honor
mean?
that.
Right.
But that just makes you like the best at because you just showed up in so many ways. You know what I mean?
That's what I was going to say. Malaya tells me how, like, because my dad wasn't really in my life. So when I hear her talk about you and how you show up in other people's lives as a dad for them, I'm like, oh my God, like I automatically, like, I'm drawn to it because you're such a father figure and you're a leader. How did you learn how to be like that? You said you didn't really have a father figure in your life. So where did that come from? Because men typically learn from men.
That's a good question, sis.
That's a very good question. And as honest as I can be with you, is I didn't want to be like them. My real father, my stepfather. I didn't want to. I should say nobody. The men in my family, nobody taught me anything. I learned from family friends, or I learned through friends as families. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And what drove me to be a better parent, to be there for people, is because honestly, no one was really ever there for me. That's the truth.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I learned a lot from different people, but it wasn't family. So what made me become a leader was, number one, I was the oldest. I'm the oldest grandchild and I'm the oldest son. And if I didn't, who would?
Yeah.
I mean, truthfully, who could have and who would have did it? Nobody.
Do you feel like it was survival mode?
Absolutely. Everything that I did was all in survival mode.
Yeah.
Because when I sold drugs, I wanted to be the best drug dealer around because I knew if I did it a certain way, I wouldn't get caught. But, that was a lie because obviously I did get caught. It was 20-something years later that I finally got caught. But that's the only thing I knew how to do.
Right.
I didn't know how to do nothing else.
Yeah.
I didn't know nothing. I did everything that I learned now and I know how to do. I learned on my own, YouTube, or my friends. There's friends right now I can call and ask them how to do something. And if they don't know how to do it, they'll help me find a way to figure it out. You know what I'm saying?
Point is, you figure it out.
Right. But
yeah.
the people that I count on the most are basically friends. You know, I have family, I love them to death, but you know, everybody had their own lives, and
Yeah.
a lot of our family lived in different parts of the country. So my grandpa just worked all day. You know, typical Mexican man: work, drink, go to sleep.
Yeah. But can I say, Pa, even with you being in that like survival mode and you helping yourself because you had no one to help, you still helped everybody around you.
Yeah,
Everybody
I
around
did.
you.
And if I had to do it all over again, I would still do the same.
Yeah. And I think that's why I move the way I do, because I watched you help so many people. Like, I built character off of you, because I remember one time, do you remember, what do you call those people who, the people who like go to the stores and they steal like the toothpaste, the soaps, and
Oh,
what do you call them?
Hustle man.
Okay, yeah. They would always come in. Even though you didn't need any of that, you would still buy his whole bag. There was a homeless guy, remember when we used to live where Bert lives? Remember that man?
Yeah.
He used to, you make him shovel you were like, okay, well, I'm going to give you all this, but you got to go shovel
You
the
got to
snow.
shovel the snow, yeah.
Yeah, you
and
used-
he did a half-ass job.
Yeah. You used to just always help everybody, so
That's
it's crazy.
funny you remember that. I can't.
Because I was like, what, 4 or 5?
I'm seeing dude right now.
Yeah,
I'm
me
seeing
too.
him right there. I'm just looking like I'm picturing him. That's
Yeah, I
crazy.
remember him. You used to always help him out. But yeah, to me, it's just crazy that you didn't have nobody to show you any of this, and you still like implement all that in your life to help everybody else. And a lot of people don't do that.
They don't, because they don't know how.
Yeah.
I've helped a ton of people, and I have no regrets, and I don't throw it in their face. I wouldn't name one person on here. I wouldn't name them because they know, but some of them didn't appreciate it, and some of them don't appreciate it to this day. But I know that I did it for you, and I did it. I didn't
You
do
did
it
it
for
with
them.
a good heart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it didn't bother me.
There was nothing expected.
And I did it a lot knowing they weren't going to pay back or do nothing back.
Yeah.
Damn.
I
That's
knew
crazy.
It. I knew it. Absolutely. I'd be like, I got to pay this water bill. I got to do this. I got to borrow this. I got to help me fix this car. I'm never going to see it.
Describing the person you are, though, like, I have to say, you said you always wanted to be the best at everything, right? So, like, you were the best drug dealer. And, like, with that comes a lot of respect. Like,
Yes.
from what Malia told me, like, you are very well respected. Did that ever kind of get to you? Like, damn, like, I'm really doing all this. Like, did it ever occur to you, like, I'm that guy?
Yeah.
No. But, I mean, as I learned more about myself, I knew that there was a cockiness to me that I couldn't get caught.
Yeah.
But I did. You know what I mean? That's fine. I mean, and I accepted it, but it hurt because I was going to be away from my grandkids and my children. And it stumped Malia's growth a little bit because she had to sit back and wait for me to come home, which I do appreciate, by the way, so she can go on with her life. And when I got out, she ran. That motherfucker got out quick. I was like, damn.
I did not run.
Where's Malia at? But, you know, on a serious
Oh,
note.
do you miss her?
Oh, yeah. She can
They
come
all
home.
better miss me.
She can come back home right now.
I did not
There's
run,
a
though.
room. Yeah, I was like,
We have 2 rooms.
I woke up this morning and I was like, one morning I was like, where's Malia? I went upstairs, bags were gone, the bed was gone, TV
Oh,
was
Lordy.
like, oh shit, she's gone. But you know, I never got too big headed. There were certain times I did use my respect or use my street cred or all that to my advantage, but it wasn't to get ahead. I helped a ton of people.
Yeah.
And I wanted everybody to eat. I wanted everybody to be part of this because there's less problems for you.
Yeah.
And when everybody's happy,
Your lovely wife is here.
everybody would strive to do better or be better.
Yeah. I got to ask you, where did B-Man come from?
Okay, that's a funny story. It was with I was at a childhood friend's house, Richie Perez, at the time, and we were outside. We're playing. This is before all the gangs and all that bullshit, and I drank a pop, and a bee was inside there, and it stung me on my tongue, right? So now I'm running around the whole fucking house. I'm screaming, and my tongue is just exploding.
Swole. Oh, my gosh.
And Richie's dad, Richard Perez, God bless you, dude's a smooth fella, but I woke him up. He said, "What the fuck are you crying for?" I said, "I got a tongue on the D." He's like, "What? A tongue on the B?" And he said, "You the bee man, you eat bees," and went back to sleep. And it stuck with me ever since. I think I was 13 years old.
Wow.
That's crazy. I want to ask you about hold on. So when you're in that like lifestyle, because gang banging it's a lifestyle. It's not something you could just go in and out and then back out of. It's like a lifestyle. When did you know when it got super real for you, where you're like, oh, this is gonna be my lifestyle for a long time? Did you know at an early age? Because when you were younger, you lost a lot of people in your life too. You lose a lot of friends.
A ton of
You
friends.
lose family. You lose a lot of it during
I think there's
it.
a lot of sacrifice that goes into it.
Yeah.
Rest in peace to the people that I grew up with. Smiley, Headache, Goofy, Negro. I mean, the list goes on. Eddie. I got a lot of childhood friends that died, and I had a lot who got locked up for murder. And I knew, honestly, I think I was 14 years old. We were laying down. We just got through playing basketball at South Park. And we were laying down on the grass, and we were just tired as hell. And I had a pistol right here, right by my side. And
14 is crazy.
another gang came and started busting at us, just unloading on us.
Oh my God.
And I just jumped up in the middle of the street, and I got up and I shot back. And that's when I hit one. And their car crashed, and we took off. And I went home, and I remember like it was yesterday. The police had just left my house, and I came. They were looking for me.
That's crazy.
And then my mom talked me into turning myself in that day.
Did you?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like an idiot.
That's crazy.
But that's when I realized it was real. And that's when they sent me to the reform school from that case.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. I actually want to bring up too, one of like the biggest pivots in our life was October 6th. You remember that day? October 6th, 2016? I got kicked out of college.
Oh, that's the day I got raided. And the
You
same
got
day
raided?
you got kicked out of college.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, your mother, she got hit with actually your mother, but your brother and your sisters got hit hard that day. Their dad gets raided.
Imagine that.
And then Malia's calling, not even knowing that I'm arrested at that point, right?
Well, I had called you the day before, and I was asking you, "Pa, me saying this, is that a threat?" And you're like, "Well, I mean, honey, yeah, it is a threat.
Yeah.
I mean, here where we're from, it's not a threat, but you're dealing with a lot of white people at the school, so that's a threat." But I didn't know I was going to get kicked out, nor did I know my dad was going to be raided by the feds the next day.
So we got hit the next day, and then you got kicked out of school, and then Bertha had to deal with me getting busted. And
Yep, and her daughter coming home from school.
Wow.
Crazy.
Was that at this house?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was sitting right there, looking out the window, and I see all these lights. I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh, so you saw it coming
I
before
seen
they
it,
came in.
but I'm a very nosy person, and
You're very aware.
very observant. And I started hearing doors shut. Then I was like, fuck, that's the police. At no time did I think it was the feds. I swear to God to you.
Yeah.
So after they come in here and they get me, whatever, they arrest me, I'm standing outside at the front gate. My shorts are falling down, booty crack sticking out. I was like, hey, my man. He's like, well, I said, man, pull up my fucking shorts, dog. And then he pulls them up, and I look at his vest. I said, FBI. I said, oh, you guys got the wrong house. Who the fuck would the feds be looking for me for?
Yeah.
Right.
Not knowing that Wisconsin, especially Racine, is known for fucking fed cases.
Yeah.
And they build these fucking fed cases to arrest everybody. It's either blacks one day, 1 year, Latinos 1 year, mixed 1 year, and then they just go on and on. They have more fed cases in this area than anybody I know.
Damn.
And it was weird because I told dude, I swear to God, I looked at dude, I said, oh, you got the wrong person. Because then I ain't do nothing federal.
And what did he say?
He's like, oh, yeah, it's UB, man.
Oh, damn. That's what gave it away.
Yeah, and I was like, all right. So now when I get to the police station over there in, I think it was Waukesha, Wisconsin. I think that's where they took all of us. I can't remember exactly. And I start seeing a lot more people coming in, and people that I grew up with and people that I knew and family members. I'm like, what the fuck?
Like arrested or just coming in?
No, all arrested. There was 29 of or 28 of us, something like that. And 4 of them were my cousins. And I'm like, what the fuck? I said, man, what the fuck is going on? Not knowing that this is what they do in the state of Wisconsin. I mean, they do it in Illinois too, but not nowhere near like Wisconsin does. And that's when I started preparing to fight my case.
Yeah. That was a huge transition for our family.
Yeah, that was big. And, big shout out to your mother because
She did.
she held it down for me while I was gone.
She did a great job doing it too.
Yeah, she did an excellent job.
one of the questions I did actually have with you and mom. So mom lost her mom at an early stage, and I always say you never know your partner until they like go through grief or they lose a parent. How was that dealing with mom when she lost her mom?
It was tough because I didn't deal with grief good.
Yeah.
I mean, most of my people who died that were close to me were my friends, and that was through a good portion of it through gangbanging.
Yeah.
Couple drug overdoses, but it was tough because your mom, she's different from me, obviously.
Yeah.
And all I could do is be there for her as much as I could, and even though I still did what I was doing in the streets and playing softball and all that, it was just the majority of just trying to be there for her and help her grief.
Yeah. I think growing up, I always knew that you were one of like the strongest parents, but I didn't know how strong mom was
I agree.
until you went to prison.
Yeah.
And she stepped up and did a lot and held everything down. And yeah, I just didn't know how strong she was.
I have to agree with you 100%. I am a very strong and got a very good, strong personality, but your mother has a character about her that many women don't have.
Yeah. And Pa, you also were really good at not really giving a fuck on what people said. I think you're very well respected, but a lot of people hated on you, especially because I feel like you're like you live the American dreamer. You're making a lot of money at an early age, right? You have the house and you have the family. And I feel like that's what everybody wants, and everybody hated that. So everybody wanted to like prey on your downfall. And it was like you were always good at like not paying attention to stuff like that. What helped you like not really give a fuck?
And truthfully, it started when I was like 13, 14 years old. I used to get blamed for everything and anything. I couldn't believe, I mean, the amount of shit that I was accused of in my early ages was just like, wow. I mean, we got accused of stealing some stuff that we didn't steal, but we knew who stole it, but we didn't tell on them. I mean, the list just goes on, and then friends blaming me for things that they did.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And then, at like 15, 16 years old, I just like, I don't care who or what they say about me.
Yeah.
And I mean, the most hurtful part, truthfully, is when family members who talk about you and
Yeah. That really know you.
right, and maybe not prey on your downfall, but if you get busted or you get something happens to you, oh well, fuck that nigga.
Yeah.
We don't care.
Yeah.
That it bothered me to a certain extent, but all you got to do is just keep moving on, because what else can you do? If you harp on it and you think about it, then you allow it to bring you down.
Yeah.
You don't need to be down. Just keep moving and living forward and doing what you have to do for your immediate family and your family. And if that's how they feel, you can't change their mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I also believe you shouldn't waste your time trying to change their mind. That's my biggest thing of it. You don't like me because of what he said or what you thought I did.
Yeah.
Right.
If I felt that way, I would ask you.
Yeah.
And I believe everybody should have came to me, because we're men, or it's a man and a woman, and asked me, and I'd be truthful. But it didn't bother me. I think 16 years old is when I tell you I got accused of a lot of shit. I got accused of a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Niggas had my name in their mouth a lot.
Yeah.
That's
a lot
crazy.
growing up
That's a lot.
at an early age.
Yeah, you had to grow up fast.
Yeah,
It sounds like.
that's the truth. You're correct. I grew up really fast, and I really don't. I didn't have a great childhood, but I didn't have the worst childhood, because I know people who've had worse.
Yeah.
And with the amount of my families, like my real dad in them, which didn't step up at all, my mom's family, and my stepdad's family. The one thing that I do believe is we should have never been apart from each other.
Yeah.
If we were apart, it was with family, but no one stepped up to bring us together, except Mary is the only one that came in and was there for me.
Yeah.
But our families are so big, I don't believe that a court or the DCFS should take the families away. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
They should step up and well, look, we'll take care of these two for right
Yeah.
now, and these two. And that way there is no outsiders
Right.
raising us.
But they did take your siblings, though, didn't they? You were the only one who did run away from that?
Yeah, no, they got taken away. What I'm
Yeah.
saying is the families were big enough that they didn't have to be
Oh,
taken
right.
away.
Yeah.
They should have stepped up as a family.
Someone
Yeah.
should have stepped up.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
they didn't.
Yeah.
So I hold a lot of resentment for that. And I'll never forget that.
Yeah.
Because when I say big, it's way too big.
Yeah.
And everybody was far better off than us. Mary wasn't, and she took me in.
Yeah.
Mary was struggling. She took me in with no problem.
Crazy.
So the people that had it could have stepped up for them and did it for my brothers and sisters as well.
Ooh,
But they didn't.
Yeah, isn't it like it hurts? It stings more when it's family doing that to you.
Well, that's another reason what made me not care.
Yeah.
Like there's some family members right now that I give two shits about because I remember how they treated me when I was a kid when I needed you most. Now
crazy
that
when you're
I
old,
was
you don't
an
forget.
adult, right?
no.
I was an adult and semi-successful in the stuff I was doing. Oh, that's my favorite. He's such a good dude. Where was that when I was growing up? Where was the happy birthday? Where was the birthday card? Not even a gift. Where was just the happy birthday?
Yeah.
It wasn't there.
Yeah.
But now that I was doing okay and I had my own business and I built this and I built that, oh, he's doing so good. I love him. You didn't tell me you loved me one time when I was growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So living the fast life that you did at one point, did you always know for certain that you wanted a family?
Yes.
Did you think like I could have it both? I could have this and that.
Yeah. I did it.
Yeah. Because you had a lot of like what? You had a shoe store. You had a bar, the the Cove or the Cave?
The Cave.
The Cave. You did a lot.
A
You
clothing store.
Opened up or you bought houses, flipped them.
I flipped some houses. I had a clothing store, a shoe store, a bar, a restaurant.
Oh, yeah. You had a restaurant, Elena's.
I was partners in a construction company, which I didn't. I know how to do a lot now, but then I didn't learn nothing.
Yeah.
I just gave him the money here, and I'll be back. I went to the casino,
Yeah.
and then everything that I did, I had to run it.
Yeah.
You would invest your money with me, but I had to run it
Yeah.
because I wouldn't steal.
Yeah.
But I always thought you would steal. See what I'm saying? You got your check every week. If we made money, you got it. If we didn't make money, you didn't get it.
Yeah.
I had no problem showing you the books. I had no problem showing you the paperwork. Well, I don't know why I call it books because I just wrote everything down.
Yeah.
I kept the receipts. You want to check on me? Here you go.
Did you have like problems trusting people due to the fact that it's money? Because people do have sticky fingers when it comes to money.
I could tell you, my shoe store people stole from us, so we shut it down.
See what I'm saying?
The restaurant people that I was in business with wasn't paying. I was paying them the rent, but they weren't paying the rent to the landlord. The landlord
They were
came.
keeping that rent.
Right. The landlord came to me 16 months later, and he was like, "Jose, you owe me $16,000." I'm like, "I don't owe you $16,000. Shit." He's like, "You do?" I said, "Well, how?" He's like, "You haven't paid rent in 16 months." I said, "First of all, you waited 16 months to come tell me.
Right.
Second of all, I've given my partner the rent money every month." And he's like, "Well," I was like, "So what took you so long to tell me?" He's like, "True story." He said, I couldn't tell you because I wasn't under contract with you. I was under contract with him." I said, "So why are you here now?" He said, "So if you don't give me $16,000, you got to shut your doors." I said, and this is before the time "say less"
Right. Like,
was a big
yeah.
term. I said, "That's all you got to say to me." I went inside. I told my cooks, my hostess, and my waitresses to go home. Restaurants closed.
Wow.
And I walked away that day.
That's crazy.
That is.
Yeah, I'm not giving up another penny. And then Winter Harbor was hard when I had that restaurant. It was very hard.
Yeah.
They didn't like to support us. We made it from...
Very racial, too.
Yeah, very... At that time, it was...
Hispanic restaurant?
Yeah, but it's... Winter Harbor was known as a very racist town back in our growing up days, years ago. And they did not like me. And I just went in there. I shut the doors and said, "I'll see y'all later." And I remember to this day, I can't remember her name. I think her name was Christina. I didn't pay her. And she called me every day for about 2 weeks till I finally paid her.
Yeah.
And it wasn't on purpose. I just started gambling more, shooting dice on the streets, playing poker, and I didn't really care to answer her phone. But if Christina, you ever see this, I did pay you.
Two things. I want to go back to your dad. Not to talk about him too much because I know the answer. But do you think that you would ever talk to your dad?
No.
Yeah. Why?
Why should I?
Right, because he wasn't there.
No, I mean, when I tell you I suffered, I do say that, honest to God, I do say that he wasn't there. I think it made me the man that I am.
Yeah.
For sure.
But I want nothing, zero to do with him. When I say I struggled growing up with the one extension cord, one heater, no hot water, and barely eating, and then when I went to jail, he came. The court had him summoned or subpoenaed, whatever you want to call it. And at that moment, he could have probably stepped up.
Yeah.
And at 13
He
years
came
old,
to your court case?
yeah, at 13 years old, he could have stepped up and changed my mind to be a father. Well, your mom was this, your mom was that. I'm sorry I wasn't there. Nothing.
Yeah.
He didn't do nothing.
Wow.
That day right there is when I said, "Fuck that nigga. I never want nothing to do with him." I just met I met both of my sisters within the last couple of years, and
We have. Yeah.
yeah. And I mean, we don't have a real good relationship. I mean, I wish them luck, and I could say I love them, but we don't really talk as much. But I told them both. I said, if you're here to try to rekindle your dad and I's relationship, you might as well keep it moving, because I will never, ever in life, I will never forgive him for what.
Yeah. I mean, I still think about it too, like of you going to prison just recently and you having a son. You know, you would think like, okay, I didn't try for my son. What if my grandson? But that still wasn't even an option. That's kind of crazy to me.
Fuck no.
Yeah.
You better stay the fuck away from my son. that might put me back in prison.
Yeah,
on some real shit.
Yeah, that's true.
And
That's true.
that can't happen. No, there's no need.
Yeah.
I'm 51 years old. I haven't needed you in 51 years. Why do I need you now?
Yeah. Yeah.
My grandma just died.
Yeah.
I won't say anything bad about her. I won't disrespect her. I didn't go to her funeral. 'Cause she was one of the ones that denied me from birth and told her son that I wasn't his kid. But blood test said 99.9999999 that you are the father, motherfucker.
That's crazy.
And he still denied me. And at 13 years old,
I mean, y'all do look alike.
I've been told that. I think I look better, but my wife says it, my family. I'll tell you a quick short story. My Uncle Roselle and my Uncle Ronald, God rest his soul, are the only two family members besides Jocelyn and that I really talked to, and I just met my sisters. And my Uncle Roselle's grandson was playing soccer in the same league
Yeah.
as my son. So
That was just a coincidence, or it was
yeah,
planned?
it was a coincidence.
Oh my God.
And he looked at me, and I just had this feeling. I swear to God, he looked at me, and I said, "What's up?" I said, "Wait, if you compare my son to your brother, I'm gonna punch you in your fucking mouth right now." He never came back and never talked to me. We talked.
That's crazy.
But he never brought up soccer again, because I knew, in my heart, I felt like that's what he was gonna say,
Yeah.
and I stopped him in his tracks. And he never brought up soccer again. And actually, him and his grandson went to play in Waukegan.
Yeah.
Because I would have punched him in his face if he'd told me, "Oh, he plays like my brother. Get the fuck out of here." And I hate soccer. I don't know why my son loved it and wanted to be a soccer player, but
A good one at it.
Yeah.
very,
A great one.
yeah. But I hated soccer. I wanted Carlo to play baseball and basketball,
Yeah.
but he's always wanted to play soccer.
Loved it.
So I
Loved it when he was little.
I would say that your mom's family were soccer players, and that's where he got it from.
Okay.
All right.
That's funny. I want to go into the prison life. How was it in there?
Which one? The last one?
Yeah. Well, you could do both. Whatever you want to talk about.
Earlier in the reform school, it just taught me a lot of norms and respect and all that good stuff. And then the 2 prison terms in state were gang banging.
Yeah.
You know, we had to be in groups. We had to be with our crew. You know, you had to stick together and so forth. But federal prison was probably,
A different experience.
it was easy.
Oh, okay.
It was cake.
Yeah. What'd you eat in there?
I mean, just bullshit spaghetti, fried
noodles?
chicken, ramen noodles, fucking oatmeal for the whole 2 years. That's why I came home so skinny. It was just oatmeal and black coffee. So I would put my oatmeal in my black coffee, and that's what I would eat.
Did you have to work like when you're? Well, I don't know. I've never been in prison. Not gonna. When you're in prison, you have to work like commissaries, right? Or like different,
Yeah,
like the kitchen, or you're cleaning, or
so my first job was in the kitchen.
okay.
And this is the guy. They used to call me the Mexican Jamaican. That was my name in prison. I worked in the kitchen. I worked in psychology. I was the head orderly for psychology. I was a head orderly for the rec yard, and then I was the trash man Wiley was a police officer that rumors were he doesn't work for the prison anymore. So
Yeah.
rumors were that he was a gangbanger from Detroit. So he liked gangbangers, whether you were a Sedano or whatever whatever you were, he liked you. So me and Wiley got along well. I had Wiley. He didn't do nothing illegal, but if I wanted your bed changed, he'll change it. Like when Wiley was in my building, he would do all that. I worked on the trash, and then it was kitchen, psychology, trash, and rec.
Yeah.
So I was one of the few people that were on the rec all day. I never left the rec area.
That's crazy.
Then I became the number one there, and I was in charge of everything. I was in charge of the basketball tournaments, domino, spades tournaments, and I honestly had it made. That's why when people used to see you and give you money, and I used to tell her, don't send it to me, just give it to your mom. I don't need it.
Yeah.
This motherfucker would not give it to my wife and send it to me.
Yeah, so I remember when I would work at like the clubs, and I mean, even though you didn't want me working at the clubs, they helped you out too.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but I didn't want it.
Yeah, they
'Cause
would give me money.
I
for
was
my
walking
dad.
out of there.
Yeah, remember?
I remember.
I was walking out of the rec yard with
Real-
12 cases of 12 packs of soda and selling them for $24. I didn't need money.
You know what's crazy about real quick, not to even like throw this conversation off. This is how I knew Elodie was my girl, because we have to split money, right? But I would tell her, sis, they just gave me money for my dad, just to tell you that so you know. And she would be like, yeah, sis, of course. Like she never cared, because she knew that had to go, that portion was for you.
But never questioned it.
No.
So yeah, that's when you know it's
Like that's the real friend.
like you guys say, it's rural.
yeah.
You know, I mean, federal prison was a cake. Besides the drug unit, that was the hardest part. Oh, and then the worst part was when I first got there, and they're like, "What are you doing here?" I'm like, "What the fuck you mean I'm doing? It's my surrender date." They're like, "Well, you don't belong here." I said, "Okay, well, give me a phone. I'll call my wife and
Right,
to turn around." They're like, "No, you belong in Lompoc, California."
Oh,
I was like,
well, I don't feel like I remember that. Wow.
Well, because at that time it was the lowest prison with the lowest COVID cases.
yeah.
But then I got lucky
COVID.
because I got lucky and I tested positive for COVID.
Oh.
So they kept me there. If not, they would have shipped me to California. It would have probably took me a year to get to California, and I would have been in the whole year.
Wow.
You would have been in, until you got transferred, because transfers weren't happening.
Yeah.
It would have been 6 months to a year
Yeah.
to wait to leave
That is
prison.
good. That is
Yeah.
crazy.
So when I first got put in there, now I'm going crazy because I'm thinking they're going to transfer me. And then I don't have a phone. I don't have a pack number.
Nobody
I don't have
knows?
nothing. Nobody knows nothing. So now my blood pressure is out the roof.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the nurse's name right now, but she would always come and check on me. Jose, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. No, I got to check your blood pressure again. Boom. Oh, my God. I've never seen your age blood pressure this high, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, listen, I haven't been locked up in 23 years.
Yeah, right.
They're thinking about shipping me to California. I can't call my wife and kids. I'll be fine.
Yeah.
So they put me on a blood pressure medicine, and I was in the hole probably 2.5 weeks before I got to get out. And finally,
You said the whole?
yeah, well
That-
you're in there because you have COVID, and then you're on the news. So they separate you. They just put you in a cell, and you can't come
It's like
out.
a brick wall, right?
Yeah, it's just the bathroom. Same
Yeah.
time as the bathroom.
I think
God.
the one of the hardest things that we had to go through in the family is just like when we had to drop you off that day. That
Yeah,
was
that was
crazy.
tough.
Which is crazy because my dad went to prison right next, an hour away from the college I got kicked out from, the school we went to. So a full circle moment that we're dropping you off, maybe 6 years late before then, you had to drop me off. So we're dropping you off. That was different. How
Yeah,
was
that-
your first day? Because when you're in a cell, what is like the first thing you're actually like, what are you thinking?
Honestly, if you guys got home safe, and I'm gonna tell you why, because we had a party here that night.
Yeah. What?
Bertha and Malia were supposed to drive me. They got drunk.
Oh,
The
yeah.
night before, right?
Yeah.
I remember you were posting Dancing with Your Dad.
Yeah.
She's throwing up, driving. I had to pull over. I'm driving myself to prison.
We brought my ex-boyfriend too.
Yeah, Michael. So I'm looking at my wife and my daughter, who are supposed to be driving me to prison.
Bob's driving himself.
And I stopped drinking because I knew, I was like, them two ain't gonna stop drinking.
No.
So when I got in there, that's what I worried about, because one, feelings were involved and everybody was emotional
Yeah.
on the drop off. 2, they were working off no sleep,
Yeah.
and 3, hungover.
Yeah.
So I couldn't even call to find out if they made it home or not.
Yeah.
And
We
then
don't. I don't think we talked to you for about what 4 or 5 days later.
It was
after
5 days later, but I had one guy call you guys, or had his family call your mom for me.
Oh yeah.
And then to come to find out, I can't remember his name, but he was a racist.
Who?
The guy that called for me, and he still called.
What?
Yeah, he had a tattoo on his back with a tree with a noose.
What?
Yeah. And
crazy. That
is crazy.
once I got to the yard and I told the fellas, yeah, oh boy, because I remembered his name then. I was like, man, he helped me out. He called my family. Like, what? That racist prick called your family for you? I was like, yeah, he did.
Do you think that this last time in prison, did you self-reflect a lot where you felt like you could now think and sit down? Because like you said, you never really processed a lot of your emotions because you're always a person who kept going. You know, you just keep going, you keep going. Did you ever like self-reflect in prison where you had to like on your downtime?
No.
No?
Honestly, no.
Really?
I'm still going to continue to just go and go and go until I can't go no more.
Yeah.
I don't really like to reflect because I know a lot of the shit that I did, it may or may not cause certain feelings, and I don't want them. I just don't.
Do you feel like, did you ever have a moment of like doubt or you wanted to give up?
No. Never. I've never thought about giving up at anything, actually, to be truthful.
That's how I feel.
And you know, it's there's always going to be tough times. It's always going to be rough moments in your life. But if you gave up, then what?
Right.
What happens then?
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna let people down, especially the people that love you.
Yeah.
You know,
And
there might not
rely
be a
on
whole bunch of people you love or a whole bunch of people that love you, but the ones you do, just keep fighting for them, man. I mean, there's no other choice.
Did you feel like when you were in there, it was like the slowest time of your life? Because to me, I think it went by pretty fast.
Actually, the first 3 months were probably the slowest
Really?
because we were still in COVID mode.
Yeah.
After that, and I got free movement and I got to do what I want. I'm telling you, when I say I had to do what I want, I got to do what I want.
Yeah.
I mean, I just bumped heads. It's funny. I just bumped heads with a guy in Waukegan at Lucky, whatever bar we were at, listening to house music and freestyle. And his name's Dre. He's like, B-Man. He's yelling, B-Man. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
We were in prison together. I gave him his first job. He was from Waukegan, Zion area. We knew a lot of the same people. I hooked him up with Mr. Queen, Officer Queen, and the one who was in love with Alexis, Mr. Harper.
Yeah.
Officer Harper.
My dad was
And-
selling the Lexus in there. You wanted some donuts?
Oh no!
What was it?
It was Dunkin' Donuts coffee
Yeah.
and Krispy Kreme honey buns.
My dad had a picture of us on his coffee mug, and he said every time they asked to see, he'd be like, "Let me get a Dunkin' Donuts coffee and the Krispy Kreme." That's hilarious.
And then I would show him and then put it back. I said, "Well, you gotta give me a 12-pack of pop," and he was like, "Come on, man." All right.
It sounds
And then
like
he
you
would
know
give
how
it
to
me.
win people over.
Yeah, I'm telling you, and it's not no bragging, no bullshit, because I don't never want to go through it again. But I had it made in there, and it wasn't slow. It went by super fast, especially when I got to Minnesota. When I got to Minnesota, that was, I wasn't there that long. I was there probably a month and a half. I think, I don't know. Your mom would know better than me, and that went real quick.
Yeah.
I was with the guy. What's his name? Anthony. What was his name?
The one that follows me on Instagram.
Yeah, he was at the
Oh.
bar a couple weeks ago.
Oh, Antonio.
Antonio, yeah.
Oh yeah.
He was real good to me because he knew you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
he's like,
dope.
I know your daughter. I got you. He gave me all
That's
kinds of
crazy.
shit.
Yeah. Did you feel like when you went in there, because we're, like you said, we're older, me, Alexis, Anissa, and who am I missing?
Carlo, Anissa.
Isa.
Isa.
But we're older. You know, we knew how to like process it. Do you feel like it changed the relationship and the dynamic of you and Carlo?
Yeah, it did.
Because Carlo was 13 when you left, I
Yeah,
think.
wow.
we're almost at where we were, but I do
I think
believe
so, too.
Yeah, I do believe that it did hurt him and it changed him, and he didn't know who I was because I kept everything from him.
That was one thing I want to say too. Everything that we went through, you shadowed us through it a lot. Like we didn't know a lot of what was going on. We knew what was happening, but like in the house, it wasn't that. It wasn't by outside gangbang or you were by here. That was it.
Yeah, well, the gangbang was been over for years.
Yeah.
So it was the drug dealing, and I sheltered my son from that.
Yeah.
And you know, I kept him away from a lot of our family. Mm-hmm. And I always used to say, Carlo has a game tomorrow, or Carlo has to do this tomorrow. He can't stay over, because I knew. I just knew.
Yeah.
And it's no knock, and I'm not disrespecting anybody. I'm not going to say any names, but I knew and I watched what they were doing with their kids, and I didn't want the same for my kid. And one of the things I asked my wife was not to let him stay or go over. Make sure that he stays in sports.
Yeah.
I didn't want him to be a gangbanger. I'm not disrespecting any family member because that's when you grow up a part of that and you grow up around it.
Yeah.
Most of the times that's what it leads to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that we were better than anybody by any means. I just wanted better.
Right.
As a
And-
parent, you always
Right.
want better for your
And
kids.
what they decide to do when they're older, that's on them.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
But on my watch, I didn't want that. And yes, it did, I believe, it pushed him away a little bit. And I don't blame him because, especially when I got sentenced on Zoom and they read my background.
Yeah.
He didn't know that about me.
Yeah.
And that was a
Read it in front of
surprise.
him?
Right.
Yeah.
And that was a surprise. I wanted him to be at my sentencing because I wanted him to see what happens when you fuck up and you do dumb shit. You go to prison, you go to jail, there's consequences. And I wanted him to learn that.
Yeah.
So I didn't think, because they couldn't go back to my record from 20 years ago because it was too old and the feds can't use it. But the judge did read.
Everything.
Right. And I'm looking at my son right now. I can see him looking at me like, who is this man?
Yeah.
And it killed him, you know. But it took him some time to get over it because I can hear it in his voice. And I ran upstairs right after I got sentenced, and we both cried.
Yeah.
And I was like, listen, man, I know you're surprised, and I'm sorry, number one. Number two is whatever you want to know about me, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the best part, to this day, he's never really asked. So I wouldn't be forced to tell him because I won't lie to him.
Yeah.
But I also don't want him to be that kid that my dad did this, my dad did that. I want to do that too. I don't
Yeah.
want that shit.
Right.
You hold a lot of accountability, and I think that's a lot of men lack that. I can even say my own dad can never sit here and tell me all this the way you're kind of speaking about yourself, and that's huge. I
Yeah.
feel like for Malia as well, because Malia, respects you and admires you so much, and she knows you for you, the real you, and she loves the real you. So I gotta commend you for that, because it's so refreshing to see a man really speak the way you're speaking.
Yeah.
I appreciate
crazy.
that. I have a
Yeah.
story about that.
What?
Tell us.
When we were driving home one time from, we were gone all day at a volleyball tournament.
I was 16.
Yeah. And I turned and I was driving. I turned the radio down. I looked at my left.
But I remember that story like it was yesterday.
I told her, you know what I do for a living, right? And she's like, yeah, why? And I said, this can end at any moment. I could get busted and go to prison, right?
Yeah.
I told her that flat out. I was 16 years old. I think we were in Racine or Milwaukee.
No, I think we were going definitely coming from that way. And you asked me, do you know what I do? And I'm like, yeah, you flip houses, right, by? And you're like, do you know what I really do? And I'm like, yeah. You're like, how do you know that? And then I'm just like, I already know that. And then you're just saying, one day it's going to stop. I want to stop.
I did say that, yeah, because I wanted to stop. I had 1 foot out the door anyways and 1 foot in.
Yeah.
And I slowed it down, but I never really stopped.
But you did always tell me, if that day comes, keep going. Get out of here. Don't stay here.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
she stayed for me, for her mother, right? They were there for each other and they helped each other,
Yeah.
right? It's a huge part to get taken away from your family when you're a child from DCFS, and then it's a huge part getting taken when your family when you're going to prison.
Damn, I never thought about it like that.
And we never knew how much time I was going to get,
Yeah.
right? But I do believe if it would have been longer, I know in my heart she would have stayed until I came home.
Yeah, I would have.
And this one here, Bertha would have waited.
I would have been bald probably, but I definitely would have had to stay. 'Cause-
Well, yeah, Carlo probably would have drove you up the wall.
well,
that's
that's why I say I never realized how much a son needs their dad when you left Carlo, because he turned into a 13 little boy, always ADHD happy to angry, mad attitude. I mean, that's teenage life, but it just was it went downhill
different.
quick.
He was excited to see me the first couple of times, and then I started noticing he wasn't coming. And it hurt and it bothered me, but I understood why. I was like, this motherfucker got hit with a shocking thing. His dad, UUW, aggravated battery to a peace officer. But that dude read everything off except my juvenile record.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, his eyes were big. And
He
it
was
was
shocked.
a big sign of disappointment. Like, wow, this is my dad, because he didn't know that.
Yeah.
And I wasn't the father when we went out to family gatherings, or even some of the, the guys that grew up to their outings. I didn't talk about what we did or bragged about our old days in front of my son. For what?
Yeah.
We did it. All those people know we did it. There's no need to repeat it, and people don't need to know
Right.
what we did.
Yeah.
Is there anything, looking back, is there anything you would change?
I was gonna ask that.
No. Honestly, no.
Yeah.
Because I believe that added to my character and added to the person I am.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I change it, then I regret. Then if I can go back and change it, where's Alexis? Where's Malia? Where's Isa? Where's Carlo? Where's Anissa? Where's Gianni? Where's Armani? Because if I can go back and change that, that might not be where we're at today.
Right.
That's real.
That is real.
It's the truth, and I don't regret anything I did. I can tell you, sitting here as a man, I'm glad I never killed anybody or got killed,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because I have dead friends and I have friends who are locked up in prison for murder.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that never happened. At this age and with my conscience and all these worriness, I would be going crazy, looking like
Right.
they're gonna come get me one day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're gonna get revenge, or the police are gonna find out at 25, 35-year-old cold case.
Yeah. But I think it was so much different too, right, Bob? Back in the day, you guys, it was like the respect was different as far as like when you were like the gangs, as they are now.
Yeah, I mean, of course there was a lot more loyalty, but at the end of the day, if you look at things, there was always people who were disloyal and lied. It just wasn't advertised like it is today.
Yeah.
Because everybody wants a big teeth. Everybody wants to be on social media and do all this bragging and do all this disrespecting and all that. It was there, but it wasn't as loud.
Yeah.
It's loud now because it could be broadcasted. Or motherfuckers is bringing out cameras and recording what people are saying, and they're putting it on their Facebook, they're putting it on Instagram, they're putting it on Snap, whatever outlet. See, it was always there. People always hated, and people always talked. But it's just it wasn't shown as much, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's been there.
Yeah.
It's just it was more discreet.
Yeah.
Are you at peace now?
Yeah, I've been at peace for a very long time.
I love that.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking to a dude who had no education. I mean, the furthest I went in education is I got my GED. I took a few college courses, but I read a lot of books. But everything else I learned at I was a late bloomer. I learned late in life. But by me learning late in life, I probably learned it faster because my brain is a lot wiser and smarter.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? But
That's real.
it's
That's
just,
real.
I don't think there's anything there is no changing whatsoever.
Being at your age, what is a piece of advice you would give yourself, like your younger self?
Or younger people that would watch this, Bob.
Yeah.
Well, younger people that would watch this, I definitely encourage you to look forward to doing something positive and doing something good. And what I didn't do, you know what? I do have a regret. I'm sorry that I didn't enforce education more on you guys.
Yeah.
That's not a shot. That's just like,
Well, you did though.
I did, but it was more sports.
Yeah.
It was always about the sports. I would definitely try to push education more on my children. And,
Because I feel like I really only went to college because of you.
well, yeah, because I was all over you.
Yeah.
But, you didn't go to college because of your grades. You went to college because of your athleticism.
I went to college because my grades.
No, don't lie. I seen your report cards. So, I don't know if to the younger people, but I would like to tell people my age and a little bit under my age, your guys' age, that when you have children, teach them something different.
Yeah.
All these people get on Facebook, they get on these Instagrams, they get on these social media, and they talk all this shit about what they're unhappy about. But they're still sitting back getting high, drinking, not doing this, not doing that, and not teaching their children or their grandchildren something different.
Better habits.
That's all I would encourage people to do.
Yeah.
If you don't like the direction the world is going to, then do something different. Teach them different. Even if we don't want to change. I don't want to change. But I want my grandkids to do something different. You know what I'm saying? If you know how to paint, you know how to weld, you know how to work on cars, Don't do like I did. All I did was push sports. So when I asked my son to do something, he's like, well, I don't fucking know how to do it. But you never really know that they didn't know how to do it because you didn't pay attention.
Yeah.
Teach them that. That way, if they don't go to college, and at least they have a trade that they learned
Yeah.
that they can go on and make money with.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, painting's not going to go nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Plumbing's not going to go nowhere. If you do heating and cooling, teach them that. Take them with you.
Yeah.
Don't leave them at home to be on the fucking tablet or the computer all goddamn day.
Yeah.
Teach our children something different so we can progress in life. And that's for us, for the Latinos. That's not a knock on white people. It's not a knock on black people. But, you know, it seems that we're behind, in my opinion. We're right there, you know. We can get ahead
Yeah.
just by teaching them something besides watching you get a high. You know, that's why I started snorting cocaine at an early age. I was watching people who were important to me and people whose families are doing cocaine right in front of me. So when you're watching it all the time and seeing them do it, what do you think?
Of course.
You want to do
Okay
it?
to do. You know,
Yeah.
let me do it too.
It becomes what you know. That's true. As a child, you know, you pick up those habits around you.
Just do something different for the children
Yeah.
and the grandchildren. That's what I really, really want to push.
I
Yeah.
love that.
I don't want to sit here and talk about people and disrespect people and that. Those people who are doing all this and that, do something different. Show them something different. Take them to their practices. Take them to their games. Wait for them afterwards. Take them out to ice cream. Just do these little things.
Yeah.
But don't be in the car getting high with them and smoking and, oh, man, you know, and then passing it to each other while you're taking your kid to get ice cream. What does that show them? What does that show your grandchildren?
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
No, I agree.
And also you taught us too about drug use. Like that just is, it's for losers, you know, like you're trying to hide the real, what did you used to always say?
I used to say, no matter what, how high you get, tomorrow is going to the same outcome.
You're gonna still feel the same.
Still feel the same. But, you know, I say that because I didn't want my kids to do it, right?
Yeah.
For the most part, most of you didn't do it. You might have tried it, whatever, right?
We might be little alcoholics today, but
Right. And then, you know, some people frown upon that and be like, alcohol is just as bad as marijuana. But,
yeah.
you know, some people can live and react off marijuana. Some can be functioning alcoholics. Some people can be on heroin their whole life and function.
Yeah.
So it's all in you.
Yeah.
But I was the guy that is like, if I can quit drugs and I don't do drugs, you shouldn't do them. You're my children.
Yeah.
I didn't do them in front of you to show you. But that's, as we know, that's not always the outcome.
Yeah.
But if you're going to do it and you can control it,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Well, before, I don't know if you have more questions before we end it. I have a question. What do you think kept yours and mom's relationship so strong when you guys, like how much you guys been through? Like what kept that?
What kept it? I mean, tall, dark, and handsome.
You're ugly.
And curly hair.
You're ugly as hell.
Well, to be no sugarcoating it.
But you know you will never get better than my mom.
Man,
No.
cut it out.
Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do Miss Juicy Bertha.
Mom,
You hear this?
you hear your husband? Yeah. Okay.
Well, I'll be 100% honest. Is the reason why we are where we're today is because of her.
Yeah.
There's no bullshit, no nothing. She tolerated me.
Yeah.
I put it through the ringer. I put it through hell. That's just the truth.
Damn.
You know, and
We got to go through hell.
I was gonna say, do you think a man knows she's a woman like for him if she goes through hell with him?
well,
Because I feel like that's how I see like my family too.
I just when you're that in that generation, most of the women see their families go through it. So their family didn't go anywhere. So why should they? So they'll tolerate it more. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah.
So today's day and age is different.
Yeah.
Very.
When you know, right? But and if it doesn't happen right away, just be patient,
Yeah.
right? And when I'm talking about her is because if she didn't put up with me, we wouldn't be here today.
You're right.
She put up with me through
Yeah.
thick and thin, right? And it doesn't help. It helped her that I wasn't 5 foot tall, ugly, and short. You know what I mean? Chunky now, but tall and still good looking.
You're annoying, Fi.
Do you think like what do you think about men these days? Like men and women in this
Men-
society?
Well, it depends, right? The younger generation is a little bit weird to me.
I agree.
And it's not a knock on them, right? it's this right here, and it's the
Social
internet.
media, yeah.
It's the internet. That's the greatest tool,
influence.
right? The greatest tool in America, but it also was the worst tool in America. It hurt these generations
Yeah.
for men because, like I said, and I take accountability. I take full accountability right now, and some of the things that my son don't know how to do is my fault, right? But if that's why I encourage men and women to step up and show their children something different, so we don't have to keep doing this. You know, I went to make a delivery in Zion, and this little Mexican girl tells me, "Man, you look so similar," and I knew she was trying to say familiar. And I'm holding it in. I'm dying. I'm ready to blow up. I'm like, "Oh, you look so similar too." You know, I'm being an asshole, but it's either A, because of the language barrier, or B, because she wasn't taught no different. Then I went to a place in Woodstock, I think it was, and there was they had 3 invoices, and this kid had a calculator, a real calculator, and he kept messing up. There's 3 invoices. I already did the math in my head. It was like 280 something. And I'm like, you want me to do it? He's like, no. Then he gets mad, and he's like, oh, fuck this. And he grabs his phone and uses that calculator and gets it done. Because we don't know how to function without our goddamn phones.
Our phones. Yeah.
That's part of the why and the reasons why our generation, women and men, are a little bit different.
I think we lack simple skills.
It's very
Yeah.
socializing.
Yes, I agree to that.
You know, and when you can't talk or comprehend, it ruins things. And some people, they act different because they can't comprehend, and they do different things because they can't comprehend. So they're either assholes or they just blow it off and don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? And that hurts us. That hurts our generation.
Yeah.
That's why I say for us to do something different and change our child's and our grandchild's thinking, so they can not be like this.
Yeah.
And they're not all the same, don't get me wrong, but there's a good majority. There's some real smart people and some real people with feelings and real people with skills and all that, but there's a lot that don't.
That don't have it. No, I agree. I totally
But I won't knock them because it's not their fault.
Yeah.
Right? When you're a parent, you're just sitting there, and I'm guilty of it, and my granddaughter comes over, and all she's doing is whining. Oh, here you go, honey. Be quiet.
The iPad.
You know what I mean? Or here's the phone. That hurts them.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. Well, at 51, how old are you?
51.
51, what do you think are like your biggest, I forgot. What do you think is your biggest accomplishment at 51?
I like that question.
At 51 right now, my biggest accomplishment right now is not going back and selling drugs.
I love that.
Proud of you. And that's a huge transition.
Yeah. Oh,
You're making fast money to actually coming back.
I'm working every day. I'm building my own company back up, and I got 2 vans out there, and I got a guy that works for me, and then I work for myself. I'm an independent contractor, but the temptation is always there. I could call right now and get it, but for what?
Yeah.
Especially when you know you're good at it.
Right. I did it since I was 13 years old. I got busted when I was 46. Now, in between there, I got busted for other things, but never was for drugs.
It's crazy.
It was all dumb shit. Aggravated battery, aggravated discharge of a fire, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
All this dumb ass shit, but it never was for drugs.
Yeah.
And the one time that I got raided, they didn't find nothing.
So what's I know that you said that not doing it again. So what's holding you to not do it again?
Bertha and the kids, truthfully.
Yeah.
And, you know.
Yeah, but because you go back in, you getting left in there this time.
I probably won't get 5 years this time.
Okay.
But, you know, truthfully, that's my biggest accomplishment. And then my second biggest is, I don't think that I ever had to rebuild my family because you guys been there.
So solid. You guys are solid.
Rebuilding my business.
Yeah.
That's my second.
Yeah.
Oh, and third was my son going to college and playing college soccer.
Yeah.
But he decided not to go back to school. He doesn't want to go back to school. He just wants to work. So he's old enough to make that decision.
For
but
sure.
number one is not selling drugs.
I love that.
I did it from 13 years old to 46, and that's all I really knew how to do.
Yeah.
What's easy? What's better than making easy money? And right now, we struggle here and there.
Yeah.
I know that check's coming Friday, and I won't be struggling for the weekend, but Monday I'll be struggling
Freaking
again.
Fridays!
Oh my God, the Freaky Fridays.
I have one more question.
Yeah.
So I just want you to know how much Malia loves and admires you.
Thank you.
I will always remember her saying, I'm calling Pa, whether she's like about to crash out or she has something so exciting to share with you. So is there anything that you love and admire about her that you'd want to share?
Truthfully,
Yeah, talk about your favorite daughter. Come on.
I don't. First of all, you're not my favorite.
Who's your favorite?
None.
Me.
You're
Me.
all the same. It's her drive.
Ooh.
Her drive is remarkable. It's like, I don't know many people her age that have that drive, you know? And I see a lot of the people that her age and she grew up with, and her drive is just over the top. I've been impressed with that for many, many years, and I encourage you to keep doing that. She doesn't never let down. She's basically like a boy me.
I was going to say that.
She's like, there's no mellowness. It's all 1, 2, 3, drive. You know, my other children, they got their things and they're doing what they have to do, and everybody's semi-successful to a certain extent.
We all have different
We're
journeys.
not up here, but this kid
Very.
has a drive about her, and if this don't work, she's gonna do that. If this don't work, she's gonna do that, and she's done. I mean, she said she was gonna get her makeup line, and I think I doubted her for a hot minute. I was like, Malia, don't do that. No, you should do it. She did it,
Yeah.
right? And if she keeps driving, she's gonna get to where she wants to be.
Yeah.
Her motivation, drive, same thing, right? Motivation.
But I always told Elodie it's like you were trying to sign me up for the Olympics. Because I said my dad put us in every sport we was in. Swimming class, karate classes, tennis. What else did you put us in?
Modeling.
Barbizon, modeling.
Yeah, they graduated.
We was getting ready for the Olympics.
You guys graduated from Amazon. I mean,
Amazon.
They do sell certificates.
Well, that was great, Pa. Thank
was
you
so
so
good.
much. What was that? An hour 19?
Oh.
An hour and 20?
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate
Thank you. We love you.
Yeah,
Did you like the
for
podcast?
sharing.
it. Yeah, it was great.
Are you keeping up with the podcast, Pa?
No, not since I watched that inappropriate podcast.
Which
I've
one?
I've been staying away.
Oh.
Yeah. Mr. Dreamy Chocolate.
Oh, yeah. He's talking about the summertime ones this last
Yeah,
Yeah.
but every time we're home, me and your mom try to catch up and we watch them. They're not going to get unwatched.
Yeah.
That's for sure. But when I watch that, it kind of, I'll go on there and I'll like it, but I won't watch it.
Yeah.
Yo,
But
we love the support.
I do tell people.
Good.
I told some
We
people
need you to
today.
put it on live.
Freaky Friday.
Freaky Friday.
All
We need you to
right,
share that link.
I'll do that this Friday.
Okay. Well, thank you, Fa. We love you.
Oh, I
Thank
love you
for
guys.
sharing.
And this is it for It's Not That Serious.
Episode 16.
Bye, y'all.
Take care.
Freaky Friday.
Freestyle.
To all my haters, my
Literally.
motivators.
Oh, Fa, you should have started it off like that.
Frenemies are the